Good day to members of the media and the listening public. In March 2020, the government implemented an additional social protection in the form of a 16-week unemployment benefit. The benefit was designed to protect and support individuals and families during an unprecedented time of need as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Months later, as the 16-week unemployment benefit came to an end, the government was cognizant that many persons within our community were still in need of assistance. To address this, the government introduced the Supplemental Unemployment Benefit and allocated funds to support families and individuals who remain in need of assistance. Originally scheduled to run until March 31st, 2021, the sub was extended to June 30th, 2021. The November 2020 labor force survey released towards the end of June was a stark reminder of the impact this pandemic has had on Bermuda. Accepting the reality that many remain unemployed and individuals and families will continue to need support, I am pleased to announce that the Supplemental Unemployment Benefit has been extended to March 31st, 2022. As a reminder, the Supplemental Unemployment Benefit is only for Bermudians and spouses of Bermudians who do not qualify for support through the Department of Financial Assistance, yet require financial support from the government. It is a temporary lifeline for those who are in financial need. All Supplemental Unemployment Benefit recipients will receive monthly payments. Those recipients who already have health insurance will receive a flat monthly stipend, and persons without health insurance will receive coverage by the Health Insurance Department in addition to their flat monthly payment. Recipients will receive a monthly flat rate of $1,520 per month deposited directly into the individual's bank account, or funds can be directly paid to vendors on behalf of clients. I urge the public who remain unemployed or are in need of assistance to apply online by visiting forms.gov.bm and complete the Supplemental Unemployment Benefits application. If you are unable to complete the form online, you can also obtain an application package from the Department of Financial Assistance, which must be fully completed and submitted with all required documents. Since the inception of the program, the government has provided over $1 million of supplemental unemployment benefits to 127 individuals. This government will continue to be unwavering in our support to individuals and families in their time of need. Thank you.
At this time, we'll go to the media for questions.
Good afternoon, Minister Hayward. How are you?
Good afternoon.
When you say it's being extended until March next year, can you say at what projected cost?
And so the cost varies based on the number of recipients in the program.
Ballpark.
And so I don't have a figure, but from the inception of the program, which was September of last year, to the end of last month, there was roughly around $1 million that was spent on benefits to families underneath the Supplemental Unemployment Benefit Program.
Okay, a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week or the week before, in a ministerial statement, the Minister of Finance stated that there was $5.5 million handed out in this fund, and a certain percentage of that was given to people who failed to inform the government that they had returned to work. Now, there are some parameters in place to recoup that money, but the overruns weren't discovered until it was sent to Price Waterhouse to do the backtracking. What's been put in place moving forward for government's own checks and balances, considering the fact we're billions of dollars in debt?
So what you're referring to is the unemployment benefit. This is the Supplemental Unemployment Benefit. The way in which you get on the supplemental unemployment benefit, you have to go through a means test. So there are more controls and parameters in place under the supplemental unemployment benefit program than the original unemployment benefit program that was initially handed out at the beginning of the pandemic.
So two separate issues.
There are two separate benefits.
So there's more checks and balances for this one.
Certainly. There is actually a means test in place for the supplemental unemployment benefit.
Are you aware of any changes in place for the other one, or that one's finished?
The bulk of that unemployment program has been completed. Certainly, it would have to be revised if we get back into a place where we have shelter in place, or we have to reduce business activity again. But that is a more temporary measure. This is what I'll consider to be a temporary, longer-term measure to support families on an ongoing basis.
Okay, I'm just going to go general. As Minister of Labor, have you received any reports or complaints that the newly open St. Regis is predominantly hiring non-Bermudians when we have thousands of Bermudians out of work?
I did release numbers in terms of the employment numbers within St. Regis. The numbers I received from the hotel were that 57% of those individuals who had been hired within the hotel were actually Bermudians. You would note that under the master development agreement that was in place between St. Regis and the previous administration, they were granted a number of work permits underneath that particular agreement for both the development and the operation of the hotel. What we have worked to put in place is a schedule that will allow training and development to take place so that we get to at least 80% of that hotel being staffed by Bermudians.
Okay,
you would also note that I did put out an additional appeal because they were looking for additional employment after their initial adverts, and also for the staffing of the casino. I did indicate that 50 individuals had signed agreements to engage in direct training so that they can take on jobs when they're made available in the casino space.
Can I just ask you from a human point of view, as the labor minister, what do you say to the average non-working Bermudian, some of whom who have been out of work for 2 years, when they look around the country and see people from other persuasions working in positions and they have no job? What do you say to them?
So as best as we possibly can, the government is trying to empower individuals so they can take advantage of those job opportunities. The unemployment rate is unacceptable, and we are actively trying to reduce that unemployment rate. What I'll say to Bermudians who find themselves unemployed, number one, ensure that you register with the Department of Workforce Development. I indicated that we have provided training and job readiness skills to over 650 individuals since we began phase one of our reemployment program. And so we recognize that there are a contraction of jobs in the economy. From an immigration standpoint, we have also worked on additional scrutinization of work permits. And so we continue to have a number of closed categories, and that is specifically designed to create the capacity that is required for Bermudians to be absorbed within the workforce.
So what is your administration doing about illegal workers? Because we haven't seen an immigration raid since Paula Cox.
Where there are reports that come into the Department of Immigration, there's instances of definitely investigated. And so we haven't skirted around our compliance responsibilities.
Okay. I just want to put in a formal request for a response regarding this incentive for permanent residents. Are you in a position to say how many people have signed up to maybe be permanent residents at that fee? Because I don't hear people banging on Bermuda's doors. And you can...
the economic investment certificate.
Yes.
And so, yes, we have approved at this point 6 economic investment certificates.
6?
Yes.
Is that disappointing to you?
No, certainly not at that particular price point. we've received over $30 million in investment from 6 economic investment certificates, and we continuously have persons who are declaring their interest and working through the process. And so, does it come as a surprise that the number is not high? No, it doesn't. At that particular price point of $2.5 million, it was certainly designed to ensure that we just don't have open borders.
But can you say what sort of people have been approved? Not really. Companies or what the plans are?
No, these are individuals, and the majority of the approvals would be residential properties.
Okay. Last question, and you may or may not be aware, but Bermuda Real has received numerous reports from union members that there is some form of industrial action due to take place before COP match regarding decertification. Are you aware, and what would you say if in fact that was the case?
I am not aware of any.
Can we use disruption right now?
Certainly, disruption is not healthy for any economy. Certainly, but we have to get down to the bottom of the impasse. And so I think further clarity that is required regarding decertification. I've heard a lot of noise surrounding the particular matter, not all of which has been true. I think when we look at what the government has or has not done as it pertains to decertification, most people will see that the government has not changed the law as it pertains to decertification or disadvantaged the unions, even though that is what has been espoused. But what we'll do is continue to try to have dialogue to see if we can find some common ground.
Okay, last question. So what do you say to the criticism that Jason Hayward started out as a trade unionist, marched with the People's Campaign? Now you appear to be anti-union. That's the comments we're hearing.
And that notion is not supported by my actions.
Thank you. Thank you.
There are no further media questions. That's going to conclude the press conference today. Thank you.
Thank you.